Coming in.
Thank you,
Appreciate
David.
it. Well, from hearings to the nation's heartland, President Trump just arriving in Texas amid growing signs his border strategy may take a more hardline approach. But with apprehensions rising, as well as rising legal backlash, what options does the president have? To Republican Congressman from California, Tom McClintock. Congressman, I must say, it's the picture, the immigration picture, is looking kind of bleak right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Sort of. It would be looking bleak if nothing was being done about it, but I think that the president's insistence on moving forward with the border wall as quickly as possible is a huge plus and a great source of hope for the country.
You know, San Diego is an extraordinary example of a wall that stemmed a flow of immigration that was getting to epic proportions. In San Diego, you have this 47-mile wall, which was built, I take it, in 3 stages, and it had a 97% reduction rate in immigration as a result of that wall. Why, when people say that walls don't work, how do they answer the reasons that San Diego seems to be working?
Well, it's not just San Diego. Israel constructed a 146-mile wall to protect them against illegal immigration from their southern border. It was 99% effective. Walls have been built for millennia in order to stem illegal immigration. The reason is they work.
They work, but clearly some of our immigration laws, particularly our asylum laws, do not work. And the idea of getting some change to stem the flow of immigration through asylum laws means that somehow Republicans and Democrats would have to work together. Is that conceivable in this environment?
Well, I think it is if the Democrats are willing to give on border security. Republicans certainly want to address the DACA issue, the issue of people brought to this country as children, who, having grown up here, have maybe dim memories of their home country, but are for all intents and purposes Americans. We need to deal with that, but we can't deal with that until we secure our borders. Otherwise, we're just encouraging a new wave of children being brought across the border, which we're seeing right now before our eyes. So yes, there is ground for compromise. The big problem, though, is I don't think the left wants to compromise. The left knows exactly what's going on the border. It is a crisis, but the problem is they like it. It fits their political agenda. I believe that they think if they could bring in a large dependent population that's susceptible to every empty promise made by the socialist left, that's their ticket to future power in our country. That's why they're taking the position they are. They know what's going on. They don't want to deal with it because it fits their political agenda.
And as if that wasn't bad enough, then you have the problems of the courts. You have this court decision, which tries to contradict what the president has been doing with asylum laws, trying to keep people in Mexico before they go over the border. And a court said that they can't do that, that somehow it's against the rights of asylum seekers to keep them in Mexico. What do you think of these court decisions?
Well, they make a mockery of our asylum laws. Asylum is reserved for people who have actually been singled out by their government for persecution because they belong to a certain disfavored group. Just living in a country that is plagued by poverty and violence does not entitle every person in it to seek asylum in our country. And what they're doing is they're crowding out the legitimate asylum seekers who do have a claim on refuge in our country.
So how do we deal with these court decisions? Can we have an accelerated decision made by the Supreme Court, which hopefully would overturn this lower court decision?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm hoping for, is expedited consideration by the Supreme Court. This is a crisis. It is the president has been very, very careful to stay within the bounds of the laws in obtaining this money and in moving forward with the border wall. I think that they are on the right side of the law in their enforcement of our asylum laws and in their control of our border. But we have activist judges in the lower courts that are doing everything they can to thwart it. The sooner we can get this to the Supreme Court and get it resolved, the better.
Congressman Tom McClintock, good to see you, Congressman. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Good to